Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of episode 6, season 4 of Stranger Things, The Dive. This was written by Curtis Gwynne and directed again by Nimrod Antal. Disclaimer again, no spoilers for any episodes after episode 6, please. Please do not mention the next episode in the comments. Let's leave that for the next review. I have not seen the next episode, and if you're watching this, you probably haven't either, so let's keep discussions only, everything up till the end of this episode. So, watching this episode with the last episode that I thought was pretty good, this episode again feels pretty good, but not blowing me away like episode 4 did. It's tough because now I'm starting to feel the bloat here, and both of these last episodes were just about an hour and 20 minutes, and you start to wonder, is that necessary? Are you starting to feel like it's a little too much? And I do. I feel like almost these past two episodes have had moments that almost feel like padding, like deleted scenes, meaning that maybe didn't need to totally see. And I think that's a result of having so many mouths to feed. I mean, you look, even the main group, how many people they have in there now? Like 7, and that's what they have to do to make it tighter. But you have so many just stories going around with Joyce and Murray and Hopper, and it's a lot of people they have to keep touching base with so you don't even forget about what's going on with them. So in that sense, sometimes it feels like we're just getting a lot of scenes when maybe we're getting more enticed by certain stories and having to kind of pull back each time, especially when we go in the stories with Hopper. And I want to start with Hopper for a second because I think that's been the biggest disappointment for me this season is his storyline, because it kind of feels like a back and forth where he was about to escape, which I like, but now he's back, and now it feels like, again, why didn't they just start from here at the beginning of the season with him being like trapped and the Demogorgon thing about to happen, like, because we knew that from the post credits last season, so it feels like it's doubling up here, and that's where I'm getting a little frustrated with it. And it was more exciting here because you had the Last Supper, like, okay, here we go, the Demogorgon stuff, but they're still kind of dangling that, hyping up the Demogorgon, so it's frustrating in a not just 7 episodes, but longer episodes, so like almost 11, 12 hours of content that we're gonna finally maybe get something happening with Hopper here that's not just where he kind of started. So that's disappointing. And that drizzles over then. It affects Yuri, Joyce, and Murray's story now, where that's feeling like a loop because they have to get to Hopper. So it's like these two storylines are starting to suffer, in my opinion, where I was really enjoying Yuri, Murray, and Joyce. Say that 3 times fast. I was really enjoying that, earlier on, but now it's suffering because it's kind of under the weight of having to wait for us to kind of let this Hopper story move forward. So it then makes them have to slow down, and that's kind of run its course, I feel, too. So that's where I feel like last 2 episodes have suffered in that kind of plot line. I do like what's going on with Jonathan, Will, and Mike here still in Argyle. I like that we got to see Susie again, who quickly became one of the fan favorites from last season, and you definitely want to get more of her this season. I'm happy they put her in here and gave her use as the hacker, and I did feel like her house was kind of probably, I'm just assuming that this is something the Duffer Brothers had in mind, where it's like them as kids, where one's got a camera and one's running around dressed up as a character, and he's filming a girl in a horror scene. I'm sure that's kind of probably emulating their childhood a bit, which I think is kind of cool. And we meet Eden, a new character who is already falling for Argyle. They're both head over heels for each other here, so we'll see where that kind of goes, but it is another character, so I don't know if the show needs more new characters. Now, again, where a lot of the meat has been these last 2 episodes, and where things really have been working for me, is in Eleven's story. It's the most interesting, and now she gets to live through more of her memories, and we see that this mysterious younger man working at the lab was actually giving her tips, saying that Dr. Brenner's not what you seem, they're up to bad stuff, also explaining her powers more, that there was a number 1, and that he had a bad incident happen, but he had figured out, the powers coming from anger and sadness from a bad memory. And then this kind of all connects because 11 was also told from him about when her mom came to see her and take away from her, that it was her mom. So it's made this sad, angry memory that's going to kind of at that time give her the powers. I also like that clearly they're doing it to save some money here, but having it through the current day 11, going through memories, I think is actually more effective and works really good. So I really like that too. So we're not just getting acting of a CGI face, that we're getting the acting of Millie Bobby Brown. But it again saves money, so it's an obvious choice and the right choice. And we get to showdown different children here using their powers, and 11 clearly wins at the end of the day, and she gets bullied for it. So it's a nice callback and reflection to what she has been bullied her whole life and went through with Angela recently. And then it was surreal seeing that kind of bullying with superpowers going on. And we see this haunting memory she has at the end here that is terrifying. And I like they're going there where we see the CG-11 younger version, all this blood around her again, that they've been teasing about this massacre the whole season. And we'll probably get that all explained next episode because it's going to be about the massacre. It says it in the title. So I'm excited for that. And we'll, hopefully get that all sorted out and explained. But I was enjoying how they're building up to that. And the opposite end where the Hopper thing, we kind of know where it's going with the Demogorgon. We're just waiting for it to kind of play itself out. Now, the main group storyline, I like Dustin was getting some big moments again here, figuring everything out with the compass and the fields and the gate and where it's coming from. And I'm sorry, but I'm still not on this Eddie boat. And this confirmed it for me, especially the way he talked to Dustin here on the boat where he's like, no, you're going to sink it, and kind of shoved him a bit. And he's like, only 3 people. Don't like him. And we barely know anything about this guy, so I'm ready for Eddie to go. I'm already over Eddie. Now, I did really dig, though, everything going on with Steve here, especially with the hairy chest bit. And I thought it was hysterical when Dustin was like, oh, Steve says the girls love it. And at that moment, Max grabs the binoculars. I thought that landed. That was great. And then it got really exciting here where Steve dived looking for the gate. And then when he came back up, he was grabbed into the upside down. And that brings now Robin, Nancy, and Eddie into the upside down going after him. So sets up something really exciting going on with them. So I like that. And then on the other side of that, you have the other half of that group getting pulled in by the cops. So it should be interesting, exciting final episode here in this batch, episode 7 coming out. And with episode 7, this one's going to be an hour and 40 minutes, which is crazy. It's like a full-on movie here. So that's really cool. And I'm glad that if anyone's complaining about being split into 2 parts, they really shouldn't, though, because you're getting definitely a full season's worth of content here. It's almost like the next 2 are a bonus. But talking about this episode, though, I'm giving it an 8.4, again, like I gave the last one. It just feels like it has really good moments. I'm still very into the overarching story of the show, but there just feels like parts I don't really feel that pulled in by. And that really is the Hopper storyline and Joyce and Murray going on with that. And, as a whole, it just has to pick up a little bit again now. And I feel like that just is only happening really because of the run times and then having to feel like it has to feed everybody's mouths with just so many characters. So maybe we could actually use a death or 2 in this next episode to kind of bring this a little tighter for the final season. But let me know what you guys saw of this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment, try to respond as many as I can. Please make sure, if you can, to subscribe. It helps me in so many ways. You have no idea. So you don't miss one of my reviews of Stranger Things. I'm doing every single episode. And again, please do not spoil anything past this episode. And if you really like what I do here, a tip would be so appreciated. There's a thanks button down below. You can also become a member. That will help me even more. I really appreciate it. It'll help me do this full time one day. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me. And I'll see you next time.